Bow, 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 from my head down to my toe. I love my little bow. Bow, 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 everywhere I go. You know I love my bow.
Hi, welcome to Joyful DIYs. I'm Joyful Day. Each week, I upload a new DIY based on your votes in the comment section below. So go ahead and comment. This week is part 3 of our unicorn dress DIY. I made this unicorn dress last week, the underskirt the week before, and now I'm going to be making accessories. The materials that you're going to need for this project are plastic bags, some scrap fabric, and a sewing machine. To start out, I would like to make a heart-shaped unicorn purse to go with my dress. So I'm going to take a piece of fabric, folded it over in half so I can have a front and a back. And I'm just going to cut the back section off because of course the back section has the ponies upside down, and we want our ponies to be facing the same direction on both sides of our bag. So now that you have your sections facing the same direction, with the heads of them facing the same direction, go ahead and find a pony or a unicorn that you love. And then fold it in half. So I'm using this unicorn since it's pretty well in the center of the fabric. I'm folding that pony in half, not the fabric. See how the fabric's all uneven? That's okay because I want this pony in the center of my heart. So what I've decided to do is start from here, and this will be the V part of my heart, and then come up and around, and right there will be the heart shape. Now this is only half of the heart because the other half will be on this side. So I'm just gonna freehand go ahead and cut this, but you guys might want to cut a piece of paper and just like make your fun shape of a half heart and then lay that down as a pattern once you get the size and the curves of the heart that you want. This is how I'm going to freehand it. I do want the heart to be wide. So here is my fun heart-shaped purse. So this is just one panel, and then that's the back section. And I'm going to take this heart and place it on some white fabric and use those two white fabric lining as lining. So now what I'm trying to do is make a large rectangle with the sides folded. And so what I'm gonna do is find a unicorn that I love, cut out. I want it to be off to one side, because if you put your unicorn right in the center, it's gonna end up like that, and you won't get to see your unicorn at all. So you have your unicorn off to the side, and then when your bow is puffy, you still get to see your unicorn face, and it'll be really cute. So now that I have that how I want it, I'm going to cut this piece out. And like I said, I'm cutting on the fold here so that I have a front and a back piece at the same time. And this gives me a rather large rectangle, so I'm going to have a huge bow, and I'm loving that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to want lots of stuffing, so maybe 4 plastic bags to go inside of this. So I'm going to fold it in half, sew up right here for about an inch, leave an inch gap in the center, and then sew right here all the way up to here. So we're going to sew all the way around except for that gap in the center, and that will allow us to fill this up with plastic bags and make it poofy. So now I'm just going to go ahead and sew, and I'm just using a straight stitch here. And then I just turn it, lift the presser foot to turn it, and turn the fabric. Go this way. And here's where I'm leaving the gap. So don't forget to leave that gap, or you're not going to be able to stuff your bow. This is a huge bow. I'm really excited. This is going to be fun. And don't forget to backstitch. Cut off all my little edges, and then I can turn this inside out. I'm just gonna grab the corners, and as I grab these corners I poke them inwards, because you always want to poke your corners and make sure that they're straight. Otherwise you end up with rounded corners, and I'm really wanting to get this bow effect. There we go, see? So now you could see that's where my bow is going to be, and then this will be where the center is, and I will have the pony face showing. I also want to make a small bow to go right here. So in order to make that bow, I can just use a small strip of fabric. This one is not necessary to try and get a unicorn head shape on it, because this fabric has a rather large print, and so when you are using this, you're gonna not be able to see a head shape anyway, but it'll give you this fun color, and so of course that's what I want to use. Now for this one, I'll do that kind of like I was going to with that other one, and we'll take it inside out, fold it this way and that way, and then sew both of these edges. This gives you a turnable bow, and I'll show you what I mean. Not sure why it does that, but sometimes it'll just break your thread when you're trying to hold on to it. Now you can see what I mean by a turnable bow, because this little thing makes it to where I can just flip it inside out. And now I can just pinch this bow, put a tiny section, and it already will make my little bow for the section, for the center. And how I'm gonna do that is, see how I have this already nice trimmed edge here? Well, I'm gonna make another trimmed edge by grabbing it like this, and then roll hemming this edge here. And this is going to be awesome because it will give us the center of the bows for both the big bow and the little bow. See? So this will give you that and that one. So what I do to make my bows have the seam on the inside is I roll it inside out together like that. Push the end of this piece as tight as I can around this bow, and then I sew a straight stitch over this little tail. And then you just get to cut the tail of the tail off here. And like I said, it's inside out right there. So you flip this while it's still already on the bow. Now you just twist it inside out and work it around to where you have a nice finished edge in the front and the back, like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the big bow, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to use 4 plastic bags for this bow to fill it up and give it some of that dimension. So I'll put 2 on each side, and then all I do to put these in is just stuff it in that little hole that we left to flip this bow inside out. And see how that doesn't give much fluff? So that's why I felt like I needed 2 on each side. Usually I just use one bag for the whole bow, or sometimes 2 bags, 1 for each side. But this one I really felt like needed more stuffing. So see, with 2 bags, that gives that unicorn a full unicorn effect on that side. And then that's exactly what I wanted. Now stuffing it with the other side. And I'm just kind of angling it, the bag, in the direction that I want it to go on the inside here. This is really exciting because I just got done with this dress, and now I'm going to have the bow set to match it. So it's not still quite floofy enough. I think I need like 1 or 2 more bags in the center here, because otherwise it's kind of loose in the center. I decided to go ahead and use this bag because it's a thicker plastic and it'll give it more dimension. So all I'm doing is kind of shaping it into the shape of a bow, because I want one piece, half of it on each side. Now I just pinch in here half of it. And again, I'm just pushing the bag towards the side of the bow that I want it to go onto. And this is a bit harder to do because of this kind of a bag that it is, but that's good because we want this thicker bag in there for the bigger dimension to fill this thing up with. It's already working. Okay. Now, see, that gives it a lot more loof so that I can kind of smash it down. Now I'm going to put this piece in the center, just like I did on the last one. I'm flipping it inside out, pinching the 2 pieces together, and I'm just going to sew it right there, and then I'm going to roll it back outside in, so that I can have the pretty print on the outside. Okay, so I'm just folding it and rolling it at the same time. Folding it and rolling it and pinching and twisting and getting it all straight here. There we go. So now I have a big bow for my hair bow, and the little bow for the front. And what I'm doing is I put myself a little safety pin, grabbing the very front edge here, and safety pinning right through. There we go. Now I have a cute little bow in the front, and I'll have my cute hair bow. And next I'm doing the heart bag. Now, to cut out the lining, I'm just placing the 2 hearts that I already have cut out on top of the lining piece that I have folded in half, so that I'll have a front and a back at the same time. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna fold this in half again, just like I did with the heart. So now I'm just cutting out the half heart that I got from the other material. And I did leave a tad for seam allowance, just because I wanted I want this heart to be the one that directs the the sewing needle and the thread, and not this one. So I'm just going to leave this one face this way, because you want the nice sides facing each other. So I'm just going to put that one down. So now I have these two pieces, and what I'm going to do is do a simple straight stitch all the way around, except for leave about an inch, except for sew along this whole edge, except for leave yourself about an inch right here towards the bottom of the heart, so that you can use that to stuff it and also to flip it back inside out. Now I'm going to go ahead and start sewing the two pieces together. Now once this is at the very center of that heart, I pick it up, twist the fabric around, and start sewing again. So remember what I said about leaving yourself an inch right here. And so now I'm starting at the end of the V of the heart. And I'm leaving myself my little space right there. And now I'm going to do this to the other one. So now we're finding that little edge where the hole is and turning it inside out, and then it will look like this. And this is the front heart, and we're going to want to flip out this back heart, of course, and stuff both of these hearts. So that's next. So here is the front and the back. And I'm still going to be able to stuff this by putting stuffing right in here. You can use either any type of stuffing that you actually have, like an old pillow or old teddy bear, or you can use a plastic bag like I've been using for my bows. And I would totally do that, but I think that I'm completely out of plastic bag. So I'm actually going to use this pink tool, and I'm going to just stuff in some of this, because this pink tool is washable, you know, of course, and it will give us the little extra fluff that we need. So I'm just gonna start stuffing in the tool, and this is the tool that I had cut off of my harder, stiffer piece of pink tulle in the video that I did a couple weeks ago. So this will help give it some dimension and some fluff and stability. So I'm just going to keep on stuffing it until I feel like it's filled up enough to be able to use it. This is working rather nicely. It's almost to the point where I like it. And then I'm just going to snip off the tail, shove the rest in, and sew that section up. So this is about how full I want it. I'm just going to snip the rest of this off here. Stuff that in. And then I can just straight stitch right along the edge. To close it up. So that's the back section, and I gotta do that to the front. And now I cut a long strip of material for the strap of my heart-shaped purse. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna fold it over. This is, I would say, about 5 inches, and I'm just gonna fold this over and then sew a straight stitch along here, leaving the loop right here so that I can feed I'll attach a safety pin right here and feed it through itself and turn it inside out when I'm done attaching the strip to the other side. So what I'm going to do is go about right here and start sewing straight down. I've sewn it over itself and I've attached a safety pin, and now I'm going to push that safety pin through the sleeve that it's made and shimmy it through, kind of pull it through as you go. And this is going to give us our strap for the purse. This is going to be so cute. And it'll be long enough to like go over the body or just on a shoulder if you want. So I really like this style to either go over the body or just over one shoulder if you want. So I've flipped it inside out. Voila! So here are the 2 hearts. And I am facing them towards each other because I'm going to sew from right here to right here, going down and up the other side, so that this purse will work. And I'm going to tuck both of the sides of this onto both sides of the inside of the purse, like this, kind of around it. So that way, when I flip the purse inside out, this bag will have this sleeve section coming from the inside and not the outside of the bag. I will also say that you're going to want to make sure that this seam is facing towards the outside, these 2 back edges. That way, when it's flipped inside out, you won't have this seam towards your shoulder. You'll have this nice section instead. Now I'm just going to show you what it looks like to sew it. So I fold these 2 sections down like that, and I'm starting on that section, on that side that I have the strap already pinched around. So if you find a spot where the fabric is really thick and you don't want to break your needle, just use the hand wheel. And then you can twist it to go up the other side. And just like I did with this side, I'm going to make sure that the seam is basically sticking up right now, because we don't want it to stick up once we flip it inside out. So now I can see that it's about the same height on this side as that side of the heart. And I'm gonna continue sewing straight up this side, and then I'll back stitch right here. Have this, just gonna see, this is what it looks like inside out, and then I'll just take the tip of the heart and push it that way and flip my little heart bag inside, right side out. I'll cut off all of these little extra strands. Look how cute this is. And if you wanted to, you could attach ruffle all the way around this if you want. I'm not going to right now. I might do that later on, but for now, this is my little heart-shaped purse. Now I can't wait to show you with all the accessories on. In a world filled with expenses, my DIYs are always free, so come on back next week. I hope you love this dress. Thank you so much for watching, and have a joyful day.
Bow, 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 from my head down to my toe. I love my little bow. Bow, 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 bow. Everywhere I go, you know I love my bow.